Alright, so starting off, I apologize if I cough a lot. Before I went into surgery, I already had a bit of like a cough, like a chest cold, and turns out having a breathing tube forcefully shoved down your throat doesn't help. So I might cough a little bit or sound a little bit like Hello my lovely little morning doves. Welcome back to my channel. Yes, it still exists. We're not gonna talk about it. It's 2020, whatever. So I've had a very exciting and busy holiday season, topped off with what I want to talk about today. This is something that I've been wanting to make a video about for a while, but I wasn't sure how to approach it, because to be honest, I didn't think it was gonna happen, and making a video about it was scary to me because I thought that it was like, if I talk about it, I'll jinx it. But it happened, so we're gonna talk about it. So I just had surgery. I had an elective surgery that I've wanted for a very long time. I had my fallopian tubes removed. Now, there's a whole lot to talk about in that. I want to start because through this process I have found that holy shit, no one knows what the female reproductive system is. So we're going to start with a little 101 on just what that means. So as just a general disclaimer for this video, we're talking about sexual reproductive organs. So I'm probably going to say things like vagina. And I drew a picture. Yeah, that's right. We've got pictures. I drew a picture of the female reproductive system, aptly titled, "The Education System Has Failed Us." First thing I want to address. These are all different things, and they all fall under the female reproductive system. I had someone, and I'm not gonna name names, okay? If you guys see this, you know who you are. It's okay. We're learning. It's okay to learn, and I'm here to help. This is not all the uterus, okay? It's not just this is the uterus. Just this one, this part up here, okay? That's the uterus. This is the vagina, okay? Just this part down here. Cervix is in the middle. These little wobbly things coming off, those are the fallopian tubes. I don't have those anymore. Just that part. Just the tube. These little lumps on the end, those are the ovaries. That's where the eggs are from. Basic principle of this thing is that the egg goes up the fallopian tube into the uterus. That's where it gets fertilized. I really didn't see this as being where my channel was gonna go, but okay, here we are. So, if you cut this part off, the egg has nowhere to go. It's like there's a car and a bridge and a McDonald's. And the car wants to go to McDonald's, but guess what? The bridge is out, okay? There's no bridge. You can't get to McDonald's that way anymore. Another misconception that I got from a couple of different people was, yay, no more periods. That's not how that works. I wish. I mean, I'm not against no more periods. But, so, you have hormones, and your ovaries produce those hormones, okay? And that means that every month, your uterus is like, I want to have a baby, so I'm going to get ready for it. It gets all like cushy and cozy, it builds up some extra cells, and it's like, yeah, this is like a great place for a baby to hang out. An egg would then be introduced to the uterus, and then if you don't get pregnant, it sheds. So not just the egg, but also all that nice, cushy, cozy extra cells, all that comes out. That's what a period is. Just because there's no egg doesn't mean there's no period. So just because an egg doesn't come into contact with the uterus doesn't mean that your body isn't producing those hormones and that your uterus isn't still like, yo, I want to have a baby. Let's talk about why I got this version of sterilization, because that is also a thing. There are options. So first of all, obviously birth control is a thing, and we're pretty good at that these days. There are a lot of very effective birth controls. I, however, am so afraid of pregnancy and so averse to the idea that I don't trust birth controls, because technically none of them are 100%. Now, on that same line, technically nothing is 100% unless you get all this removed, okay? It's not 100% until you don't have the ovaries and the uterus anymore. However, that can also pose some problems. If you don't have a uterus, that is a small organ missing from your abdominal cavity. Later on, your organs can shift, and that can cause problems. So, removing the whole uterus, if it's not necessary, isn't always the best choice. Now, the ovaries, you get rid of the eggs, you definitely can't get pregnant. But that's where the hormones come from. So, if you get rid of these bad boys, you gotta start taking artificial hormones for the rest of your life, or go into menopause at 25. I wasn't really about that life either. So, you take out just these two little tubes. It's a much more minor procedure. You're not getting rid of any, structures that are holding things up. You know, other organs sit on your uterus. If you get rid of it, now they don't have anything to sit on. Your fallopian tubes are small and not important to the overall architecture of your organal structure. So that's basically all I wanted to talk about in terms of this thing, just to get a little bit of education about it out there before I talk about what I went through personally. Why did I decide at the lowly age of 25 years old that I want to be sterile? Because that's a big thing. And I fully admit and I fully accept that people change. I have changed a whole lot in my short 25 years of life. And I know that I could yet change. And I also know that that means that I might change my mind. That I might want children someday. I have a hard time fathoming that right now. But I am not closed to that possibility. From a very young age, I'm talking like a child myself, I was talking about adoption. I have, for some reason, I got it into my little brain way back when, that if I ever had a child, I was going to adopt. I feel very passionately about that still. I still think that there are just not nearly enough people who are adopting children, and I don't know any of the statistics, but I know that there are way too many kids out there who need a home. So, to me, this was removing one possibility for me to have children, and that's just the biological possibility. Something that I realized kind of later into high school and then more so when I was in college was that I physically cannot be intimate with somebody if there's a chance that I'm going to get pregnant. So that really solidified for me the choice to be permanently sterilized. I put off relationships when I was younger, and I definitely put off intimacy because I was not comfortable having sex if there was a chance. And that was kind of it. And I didn't really do relationships, and that was kind of sad. I was lonely for a lot of the time, and I felt really abnormal for having this like standard for myself that I just couldn't, be intimate with somebody who could get me pregnant. And I knew that I was never going to be able to approach a relationship with somebody with the opposite sexual reproductive system until I felt comfortable. And that was when I knew that I couldn't get pregnant. That was how much it scared me. And does scare me. And even having my tubes removed, there are chances, very minuscule of course, of like ectopic pregnancy where the egg just goes floating off into space and somehow a sperm finds it and they're like, yo, let's make a baby out here, not in the uterus. There's always going to be chances of things like that, and I have had to kind of come to terms with that. But the chances are about as low as I could possibly make them. And that, to me, has been so much peace of mind. And it has given me freedom to pursue relationships for the first time in my life without fear of having to like sit down and be like, hey, I really like you, and it's not that I don't wanna, but like, we can't do this thing because I'm not comfortable and I'm terrified, and like, that sucks. When I told this to people, because I'm a very open person, so I was just like, you know what? Yeah, this is a choice that I've made. I can't have sex until I'm sterile. People took me really seriously when I said that. And I found that it wasn't just like my parents, because, that was like a thing for them. Like, wow, okay, clearly you mean it. Clearly this is something that is really important to you. But also approaching doctors, I found that got their attention every time. So I began talking to my therapist about it, and she was very open, and she's very open-minded, which was great, and she kind of talked me through some of the options, like what I just told you about with the different types of sterilization and why certain ones might be better options at my age than others and things like that, which was really, really helpful for me. So I made an appointment with my regular doctor. She was very pregnant at the time, but she heard me out, and she didn't question me at all. And she just pointed me in the direction of an OBGYN that she thought would listen. So I made an appointment with said OBGYN. I also talked to my insurance company. Turns out on my Affordable Care Act $15 a month plan, I am fully covered for sterilization. And I still don't really, I don't know how that worked out, but that was the case. No deductible, fully covered, as long as the doctor got pre-authorization from insurance, which meant that it was all down to the OBGYN at that point. And she just talked me through everything. She talked me through other options. And after talking me through basically what the surgery would be, and, the fact that it's irreversible, she asked me if I wanted to sign the consent forms that day. And I was scheduled for surgery 2 weeks later. I did cry when she left the room. So 2 weeks later I get the call. I get ready for surgery. My mom drove me to the hospital. And I had the procedure done. It took less than 2 hours. And it's a keyhole surgery, which essentially means that there are 3 small incisions, one on either side of my stomach, and one right in my belly button. That's where the camera went. And everything went really well. I no longer have fallopian tubes, and they even found a little bit of endometriosis on my bladder and removed that too, which is a huge bonus. I didn't even know I had endometriosis. And I woke up and I couldn't stop smiling. And I felt so positive and so excited. And I just feel like I have so much to look forward to. And I've been at a point for quite a few years where I've wanted to have a relationship because I'm a person and people like to have other people. And I was really lacking that in my life. And now I feel that I have nothing stopping me from pursuing that. And as it happens, I met someone shortly before having this done. And I'm really excited just to see where that goes without any fear. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say about it. That was my experience. I'm healing very well. I don't even take pain meds, and I think we're only on day 4. So, doing pretty darn good. Yeah, if you have any questions or want to know more about why I've decided to do this, or what the procedure entails, or how to approach a doctor to maybe do this yourself, please let me know. I would love to talk about it. I think that this is just a really amazing, awesome thing. I feel like I have complete autonomy of my body. I got to make this choice for myself and no one judged me for it. And maybe I'll start seeing that now that I'm putting it out on the internet and whatever, but that's fine. But everyone who's mattered in the process, being family, friends, and doctors, have been overwhelmingly supportive. And I can't thank all of them enough. This means so much to me. And it's kind of, I'm still wrapping my mind around the fact that it's done. Like, I did it. And it just felt like a really strong way to start a new year. And I have a lot to look forward to.